M&J Video Games and Collectibles. Sport and non-sport cards, wrestling items, autographed items. We buy, sell, and trade. M&J Video Games and Collectibles, located at 1049 Queen Street, Southington, Connecticut. Call us at 1-860-479-9223 or 860-93-GAMES. M&J Video Games and Collectibles.
He had heard that Backlund was living in Panama City and he would love to go see him.
Yeah.
And, if anybody's aware, Bob probably isn't doing the best. But, Mr. Brunzell was talking about Bob Backlund. He was calling him Bobby, and we were just bullshitting. And we were talking about the day Backlund lost to the Iron Sheik. And then there was a strange turn to the conversation. I said, we got to stop the conversation now because what the great Jim Brunzell's about to say is news to me. So I'm going to set the table because I got to hear the story now. So if everybody understands, Jimmy and I, like many WWF guys, grew up here hating Bob Backlund. I think we were the original.
Our entire junior high into high school, 5.5 years, the man was champion, turning back the likes of Greg the Hammer Valentine, Magnificent Morocco, Sergeant Slaughter, for God's sakes. He was taking them all down, Mike.
And Killer Khan.
The Mongolian. Yep.
So, when the Iron Sheik came to the WWE, and there was a second round there, everybody was like, forget this. This is a waste of time. Because I think he had just beaten a mass superstar who we thought had a chance. And we always thought someone had a chance.
Adrian Adonis had a chance.
Right. So the list is long. So fast forward. The match is set. No one's watching. It's a waste of our time. I'm at my girlfriend's house, and in the Daily News, this little caption.
I was watching.
Which is crazy. I don't even know why you were.
Because it's wrestling. I love wrestling. Okay.
So in this little caption, it has, Iron Sheik defeats Bob Backlund for the title. And I'm like, what? So I said, someone telling that story to Jim, and Jim's like, I don't think Backlund knew what was going to happen. I said, stop. Because I've never heard this. So, Jim, I'm turning it over to you, man.
Well, now this is what I heard through a lot of the boys. Okay. First of all, Hulk Hogan had just left Minnesota to come to New York. There's no way that they're going to have Hulk Hogan beat Bobby Backlund. It just wouldn't. First of all, it wouldn't have been a good match. And then second of all, you don't have a baby face beat another baby face, and he would have to beat him 1, 2, 3. So they thought Khosrow Vaziri, the Iron Schnook, would be a good he would be good in there. So what happened was, and this is what I heard, I never talked to Bob about it, but he was surprised. What happened was they had a good match and blah, 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 blah. And the next thing you know, Khosrow puts the camel clutch on him. And his manager, who I just forgot his name again.
Skolin.
Arnold Skolin threw the towel in. So they rang the bell, and that was it. So Khosrow won. And then 2 weeks later, he got beat by the Hulk, whatever it was. So, and Bobby just, I don't think he knew. They had done this. Vince had done this. Vince McMahon Jr. had done that, with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. And it was, but, I'll say this, Bobby made a ton of money. Bob Backlund made, probably, I would say, $3.5-4 million in that time period. Maybe
wow.
And
really?
He saved his money, honest God. He saved his money since he was down in Dallas, Texas. I gotta tell you a quick story. In 1974, I was in Kansas City wrestling in the Central States, and I was working for Bob Geigel and Pat O'Connor, and you wrestled every single night. Twice a night. And I was just starting. So Bob Backlund was coming down from Minnesota and he was going to go to Texas. So he wrestled in Kansas City and he said, Jim, do you think I can stay with you at your apartment? And I says, well, I says, Bob, I got a 1-bedroom efficiency and I got 2 double air mattresses, and I will be glad to blow one up for you. so he says, okay. So we had some matches in Kansas City. Then we come back, and Bob could drink a case of beer.
Really?
He loved that. He didn't do any drugs, nothing, but he could drink a case of beer. Just boom, 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 boom. So I blow the double bed up. I'm in the one side of the room, and he's in the other. And in the morning, he got up and he says, "Jim," he says, that got air mattress, he says, had a hole in it. He said, I slept on the floor all night. So he had to get up in the morning and drive to Dallas. Oh, and I felt so bad, but I didn't know that it had a hole in it, because I had very seldom any guests. But I got to tell you another thing too. When I first went into WWE, it was June 26, 1985. They flew me in, and I came in and went into Poughkeepsie, and that's where they did their TV. So Gene Okerlund, who I'd known from the AWA for a long time, and a great interview and a great guy. So he was going to do an interview with me, just a normal babyface interview to, start out my run in WWE. So he's asking me questions, and I there's no braggadocio with me, and I'm an athlete type wrestler and everything. And as I got done with the interview, as I walk away, I hear Vince McMahon says, "Oh God, we got another Backlund here." And he said that, and I looked, and I thought, "Holy Christ!" I said, "That's a great way to start the relationship."
Was that like the curse of death? Like, oh no.
And I almost turned around and said, "Well, if I can have the strap for 5 years, it won't be bad."
That's right. Yeah, give me that $4 million. I got to ask you now that you're talking about Backlund's drinking all his beer. Did you ever experience Backlund drunk? Like, what is a drunk Bob Backlund like?
He was a happy drunk.
Really?
He was.
Okay.
He never got violent. He never got. He was just laugh, and he just sort of, it was good. And he drank a case of beer.
Let me ask you this: being from the AWA and Backlund's in the WWF, again, there's no internet, obviously, and is the word over? Like, I can't believe they're using him as their champion, or was it like, that guy's really great? I mean, what were the other wrestlers saying about that?
Well, it was early on in the WWE, Mike, and the deal was, Bob Backlund had all the credentials. I mean, he was, a national champion in Division, 1 or 2, North Dakota. He was a bona fide wrestling phenomenon. He was, and he was good. And I think most of the guys in the business realized that, if somebody's got those credentials and he can speak a little bit, on the microphone, and he can draw money, well, let's go with it.